Today I will be taking the session on React functional component and class-based components, and correspondingly we'll see in detail about those. And if you guys have any questions during this, please feel free to ask the question in the chat box or in Q&A. So you can see this Q&A option. There you can post any question, okay, any open question, or you can drop that in the chat box as well. Okay. All right. Any questions before we start for the day? Anyone? Yes, Ronak, you have any question? Please drop that in the chat box. You have raised your hand. Ronak? Okay, all right. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible? All right. Okay. All right. So today we'll see React components, type of components, functional and class-based components. What is a state, setState, and virtual DOM. So these are the concepts we have for ReactJS. Okay. Siraj, it's a 1 hour session. I'll be covering these, but yes, if you want me to just give you guys a gist about any other topic, you can let me know. I'll just quickly give an overview about those topics as well. Okay, anything in React, you can ask me. I just have one question. Anyone who have zero knowledge of ReactJS, so that I can just give it quickly about the basics of knowledge about this technology, and then I can start with this topic. Everyone is having this knowledge, or anyone who doesn't know about ReactJS? Okay, I'll just quickly give you guys a brief about this technology, when it was introduced, who introduced it. Okay, so you guys can all just open Facebook in your web application. Don't log in, just open Facebook. Okay, just by looking Facebook, you will see what is ReactJS. It is that simple. Okay. So you guys must be knowing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the 3 basic technologies we have for your front-end development. Okay, and then after that, we have ReactJS, AngularJS, and ReactJS, AngularJS, and Vue.js. These are called the advanced front-end technology. Okay. So we have firstly the basic technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then we have advanced technologies. In that, I'm picking ReactJS, and from that ReactJS, I'm covering this topic on React components. Okay, I'll quickly give you guys a brief. So ReactJS was introduced by the company Facebook. So Jordan, he's the software engineer who created ReactJS at the Facebook company. So initially, around 2011, it got introduced. Then 2013, this company made it open source. And now we are in 2022, in the end of 2022. So between these years, a lot of versions of React came. Okay, but the major version that really made a lot of changes was 16. Then your React 18, which is introduced this year, and 16.8. These are the 3 versions which added a lot of functions, a lot of concepts. 16, 18, which is introduced this year in March 2022, your React 18 was introduced. It's the latest one, and 16.8. Okay, 16.8 was the major version. And ReactJS, we write ES6, ECMAScript 6. So you guys really need to have good knowledge of ECMAScript 6. That is 6th version of JavaScript. Okay, this was introduced in 2015. So when we start learning ReactJS, you need to learn ES6, and then you start with ReactJS. Okay. Now ReactJS was introduced by Facebook. Next question comes, why Facebook created it? Okay. Now you guys can log in your Facebook. Okay, you will write your email ID, you will enter your password in a web application, and you click on sign in. You will see once you guys sign in into that application. Now go from home to dashboard, go from home to your profile. You will see your page will not be refreshed. Okay. If not Facebook, you guys can check out Netflix as well. You can check out Myntra as well. Okay. You can check out Twitter as well. These all are created with ReactJS. Okay. You can check out Instagram as well. Okay. In your web browser. These all technologies are created with ReactJS. Okay. why they have created it. Earlier, what used to happen with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, when I click on anything in my application, okay, like Amazon is hybrid. It's half creative with React and half with the without React. It's hybrid. So if I click on anything here, let's say if I click on this, so you will see my page is refreshed. That means a request is sent to the server and server is bringing me that page. Okay. So this is one thing. But if you see the same thing, if you click on anything in your Facebook application, go from home to about to profile section, you will see your page is not refreshed. Okay. Because now server rendering is not happening. Server rendering will happen only when you have something to be sent to the database. Okay, I hope you guys know the architecture of a website, like front end, back end. Okay, that's very basic. You learn in HTML, CSS only. Front end and back end. You have a front end in the starting, that where you actually, which is the place where user interact with the application, and back end consists of your server and databases. Okay, so you guys can try changing your name in Facebook. You will see at that time your page will be refreshed. So whenever you're sending requests to the server, that time your page will be refreshed. Otherwise not. Okay. So you can easily track when you click on something, if page is refreshed, that means that data is going or coming from the database. Otherwise, it's all in the browser. Okay. This was one of the reasons. Because if I talk about before 2000, in 90s, there was no need of ReactJS type applications, because we really don't have like, didn't have much people using these technology. So after 2005, your technology started evolved, and then a lot of internet users were increasing. So similarly, your Facebook users were increasing. So there was a lot of server load on their application. That's where they came up with ReactJS. Okay, this is the history. Guys, am I not audible? Audible. Suraj, you need to check at your end. Okay, I'm audible to all. Okay. So this is a very basic history. Now we are in React 18. Today, while taking an example, I will show you guys React 17. Okay. So in React, you have a lot of concept. I am picking one of them, that is React components. Okay. And component is nothing but a class or a function. Just like if you guys know JavaScript, just like you guys create functions and classes in JavaScript, similarly, we create classes and functions inside your React. Okay. We just need to understand how classes work, how function works, and you're good to go with ReactJS. Okay. So these are called the 3 building blocks of ReactJS. Okay. That is going to be your state, component, and props. Okay. So whenever we talk about React, these are the 3 basic concepts you really have to know. So this is the snippet I've added. This is how you create a class. Component can be a class or a function. Okay. So here you guys can see class name, extends, component. Okay. State is nothing but a JavaScript object. Okay. I hope you guys know JavaScript objects. So this is just a JavaScript object consisting of property value pair. And let's say I have created 3 components. Let's say I have created 4 components. I have created 5 components. Okay. Let's say 5 classes. If I have to send data from one class to another class, okay, I can do that using props. If I want to send data from one component to another, I will use props. So this add info is called component. This is how you create a state. And if you want to send data from add info to, let's say, some display component, then I will use props. This is the use of these 3 things. Now, further from this, I'm picking this topic. And next we have types of component. Okay. Yes, Varun. In ReactJS, we have 3 building blocks, that is component, state, and props. Okay. Component are of 2 types, classes and functions. This is the snippet you can see, a class is created. If you guys don't know what is class, you guys need to go through ES6, okay? Because like I said, when we start learning React, we learn this topic first, ECMAScript 6, React. Then we go to React, okay? So firstly, we learn ECMAScript 6 and then we go to ReactJS. So here, this component over here are of 2 types. Either it's going to be a class or it's going to be a function. So this is how we create a class. Class name, extends, component. Extends is a topic of inheritance. Again, it's coming from ECMAScript 6. So if you guys know ES6, then it's all easy to understand the syntax in React. Because we write ES6 here. Okay. All right. Guys, the implementation, while I'll show you guys, this is all just a basic theoretical explanation through PPT. Then we'll go to code and I'll show you guys implementation there. Okay, no worries. So out of these, now I'm picking this component. Okay, and we'll study this component part in detail. That is going to be your types of component. Okay. There are two types of component we have. That is going to be class and function. Okay. In 16.8, okay, there is one topic called hooks was introduced that changed a lot of things that we will see today. Okay. We'll see before I would say 16.8 because we have to see function and class-based components. But in the end, I'll just conclude using hooks. You can do all those things that I will right now say we can't do it. Okay. So function-based components are the ones which does not create a state, and we will use function to create it. And if someone say function, if someone says stateless, if someone say UI, it's the same thing. Okay. And if someone say class-based container or state component, it's the same. Okay. So class-based components contain the state and function-based component doesn't contain the state. Okay. Function-based component receive the data from the props, that is from parent component, because they don't have any state. And child, there is one topic called lifecycle component methods that is available only in class-based components. Okay. Function-based component are more concerned with the UI, that is the display part of the data. And class-based component not concerned with the UI, they are more concerned with the functionality part. Okay, like if I have created a state, then how to update the state. And here we use function to create, and here we use class to create. Okay, so today I will be showing you guys all of these state and class, state component and function-based component, and how to create a state, how function-based component looks. We'll see all that part. Okay, so we'll see the code now. Do you guys have the setup? Guys, I will answer your questions together in the end. Okay, I could see a lot of people are posting it. Okay. So guys, first you need to do the setup, and this is how your React application looks. So in that, you guys can see index packet.json. You can check React version that you are using. I'm using React 17, and all the packages that we need, they all are inside this node modules. And I hope you guys know React is also a dependency. We need Babel, all that part here. And the SRC is the folder where we start writing our code. Inside this, these are the two main files that we need, app.js and index. App.js is already imported here. So I will start writing my code here. Okay, app.js is the file where we write the code. Those who are new to React, you guys have to go through firstly the basics and all in detail. And here we don't write HTML files. We directly start with our React code. Okay, in JS, in SRC folder. So here I will write import React from React. This is how we start writing our code. And whatever import statement that you guys write, you guys can see this React is coming from node modules. If I hover over it, you can see it's node modules. Okay. So team, this React is coming from node module. Okay. After this, I have to create a class. I will write class app extends component and curly brace. Okay. So this syntax is predefined. You have to follow it. So this app is called component. So it's a class-based component I have created. Okay. And here I have added the class as app. App means it's called a component. And the file name and component name, we keep exactly same. Okay. Inside this, we write render method. Then we write the return. This is the syntax. You guys will see this is called JSX. That is allowing you to write Java's HTML code inside JavaScript file. Okay. So at the end of the day in React, you write JavaScript. In the JavaScript, you write HTML only. Okay. You will see I will be writing HTML code here inside .js extension. Okay. So whenever someone say a component is returning something, they are talking about this part. Whenever someone say a component is rendered, they are talking about this part. Okay. And if you want to create any data, you can create it here. State is equal to curly brace. Okay. Okay, state is just a normal object. If you guys know the concept of ES6, you will know you can create a property like directly here, and one component can have only one state. Okay. Let's say here I will create F name, Elena, L name, Joe. Okay, so these are the two data values I've created, Elena and Joe. Now, next thing is to export it. Once wherever your class is ending, after that, you have to write export. This exports and export default. Even these export and import statements are coming from React, from your ECMAScript 6 only. Okay, this export import is also coming from ECMAScript 6. And I'm writing this export because I've imported it in index.html. Okay, guys, default means whenever someone will import something from this component, so every time the default export I'm doing is that. Okay, if you're exporting two components from one file, then you don't have to write default. Okay, default means whenever someone imports from this file, it has to be a app over here. Okay, and I have imported this inside this place. Import app from app. This is file path, and this is going to be the component name. Is it clear, Rajiv? Yes, yes. You guys can directly write here as well. Export default here. That would also work. Okay, both syntax are. Now, here I've created a div. I will write hello world. So I'll tell you, your ReactJS is a library. Okay, so everything is already predefined. Both are recommended. The only thing is, once you guys go into advanced topics of React, you will realize you are writing this app here. Okay, let's say you added it here. But there is one topic called HOC. If you want to wrap your component into something else, let's say, I'll show you guys. Let's say I want to wrap my component here into something else. Let's say HOC. This topic will come later, like this. Then you can't do that step here. Then in that case, you will write export default here. Otherwise, you can write it at the top. Okay. No, this is HTML part-time writing in return. Okay, this is called JSX. JSX is syntax extension of JavaScript, which allow you to write HTML code inside JavaScript code. This complete file is JS. In that, I'm writing JavaScript HTML. This syntax is called JSX. Syntax extension of JavaScript that allows you to put HTML code inside JavaScript. Okay. So for now, I have added hello world. Our next part is to execute it. I will come here. I will right click on this folder, open an integrated terminal. And here I will write npm start. This is how you run a React application. Guys, HOC stands for higher ordered components. Just like you guys have topic of higher ordered functions in JS, similarly, you have components here. Okay. Here also component is like a function. Okay. Guys, this default over here means you are exporting this app over here. Default means every time, let's say if I write it like this, okay? Let's say I will write it like this. This basically means I can export, I can create another component here, okay? And I can have app data, okay? So I don't know which component I'm going to import here. If you're importing app, then you have to mention that app like this, okay? If you're importing app data, then you have to write it like this. The syntax will change if you don't do default. The syntax will be like this if you're doing default. Okay. So right now I'm creating one component per file. So this is how it's going to be. I'm doing export default. Clear? Is this part clear? I've already imported it. I've imported the component already in index.js. I don't have to import it here now. I'm exporting it app component so that I can import it in index.js. Okay. Okay. So here you guys will see hello world is coming here. Okay. Here, hello world will come here. Here you guys can write react.component, or you can import it from here as well. Both would work. Okay. Either you do this step, okay, or you do react.component, then you don't have to write it this part. Any one would work. Whichever you guys like you can just start it. Okay, doesn't make much difference. All right. So you guys can see hello world is coming. Now let's display the state data, because state is going to be the dynamic data. You can consider state like an intermediate data. If data is coming from the parent component, if data is coming from the child component, this is always going to be there. Okay, this data. This data, even if you're sending data from API to the front end, firstly you store that data in state and then you display it in UI. Okay, even if I'm capturing some data from the user, I will take the data from the user and I will send that to the firstly to the API, and then like store it in the state, and then I will send it to the API. Okay. Yes, Siraj, when you do this command that you have added, it will come here. Okay. Now to display it, I will simply write this dot state dot fname. Okay. Now this keyword is coming from your JavaScript. This refers to the owner where function is residing. Now this function, render function, is inside this app. So this keyword will refer to the app. If you guys know the concept of this keyword, you will know this is referring to app. Okay. So this, that is app dot state dot fname. Even if you guys go through ES6 concept, you will see we always use this keyword to access any property of class. LA. So you can see this dynamic data is displayed in UI. Elena Jo, hello world. Okay. Now I can remove this hello world and I will simply keep this in p tag, these two data. Okay, this is how it will come. Elena and Joe. Okay, so state is like an intermediate. Even if data is coming from the database, you have to store it in state and then use it here. Or you have to, if there's a form you're capturing data from the user, you have to take the data from the state data, store it in state, and then we have to send it. Yeah, this is only for class, I'm telling you guys. Okay, this is your class base, and I'll tell you guys one shortcut. Okay, there is shortcut called RCC and press enter. You really don't have to write the code to import it. Write this code. Okay, this template will come automatically. Okay, I'll tell you the extension to include it. You guys have to install this extension, React Code Snippets. I'm dropping it in the chat box. Okay, this will definitely save your time. Instead of typing it every time, I added wrong. Just a second. Just add this extension in your Visual Studio Code, okay? And you will be able to write RCC and press enter. You will get the template. The component you are in, automatically you will get this component, a template of that component that I've written manually right now. Okay. Now let's create a function-based component now. Let's create a display.js. Now to create a function-based component team, I will not use again manually. I'll just use the shortcut. State is a variable. Okay. Guys, state is the property of app. It's not a static keyword. It's not a reserved keyword. If you want to make it S, it will work. But the only concern is because it's a class, you can keep any variables here. You can create as many objects you want. But in React, state word holds the different meaning. So always create it as a state. It's not a reserved keyword, but you have to use a state. Okay. And it's not a variable, it's a property of app. Definitely you can create as many property for app. It's a class. Okay. But it's your practice that you always use the word state, and you can have only one state inside one component. You cannot have another state like this. It's wrong practice. Even if you want to write one, even this is wrong. Okay. Always create one state object inside one component. So you have to take care of all these things. Okay. Yes, yes, you can change the state as well. It's updatable, it's mutable. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Now this class is done. Okay. Now we are going to function-based component. Okay. Function-based component, there are two ways. Either I start writing it manually or I just told you guys the shortcut RSC. For creating a function, you write RSC and press enter. Okay. You will get this function-based component. This is how the syntax looks. Const display equal to, okay, round brace, curly brace, and then return. Here you have no render method. Render method is not here inside function base. Okay. Okay. Guys, you can use .jss extension as well. That is also fine. JSX will give you more information, more specific. It's a JSX. You can write JSS. Both are fine. Okay. Now here I will write in p tag hello. Okay. Now this component, if I come here, you will see nothing in UI because this component is not a part of UI because everything that you import in index, that becomes the part. Okay. So now next question is not, you guys might be wondering, should I import display here? No, there is only one component that can come here, app. Okay. You cannot add anything like that here. Okay. So you cannot add display here. App is the only component, the only one. I mean, you can rename it as well, but there is only one component can come here. Okay. So don't do anything in index. In app, import your display component. Import display from display. Okay. That's why we write this export statement in every component. Okay. Because we have to import it somewhere. At least in app, you have to import it. And then whatever component you have imported, included like a normal HTML tag. Display like this, and it will become a part of UI. So whatever you write in return, it becomes a part of UI. Okay. And whenever I say component is returning something, I'm talking about this part. Okay. Bhavuk Arora, you're asking about this import statement, like why we can't add anything, because in React application there is only one root app component. Okay, that's because it's a single page application. SPA, single page application. A single page application, there is not regular server rendering, and there is only one root app component, and rest of the components are rendered or dependent on it. Okay. So in index, include any one component here, import it and add it like HTML element. When you guys do the setup, it is already done. So you don't have to do anything, just understand the code. Okay. And if you want to import anything or make anything a part of UI, include it here, import it here, and add that here, like HTML element. Okay. So whatever comes here will be a part of UI. Guys, dot. Okay, Pradhan, what you're asking is the topic of React routing. Okay, there's a topic called React routing we have. Okay, it's a detailed topic. So from that you can include multiple web pages. Okay. Okay. Guys, this is JSX that you're writing. If you're creating any file with .jss extension, you have to write this code inside that JSX file. Okay. When you specify JS and JSX, okay, JSX is, this is what you're writing, which allowing you to write HTML code inside JavaScript. So JSX is the syntax extension of JavaScript. So in React, a lot of time you will see JSX, .jsx or .js. Okay. Coding wise, the difference is in JSX. I mean, everything is JS at the end of the day, anything related to JavaScript. So you can put it in JS or JSX file, both would work. But JSX is this part that we write. Okay. So when you write .jsx, you are more specific about that. Okay. All right. Guys, .tsx basically means TypeScript. Just like you have JavaScript, similarly you have TypeScript. Okay. Okay. JS, guys, TSX, that is what I explained. TSX means TypeScript. Just like I'm writing the code in JavaScript, you can write the same code in React with TypeScript as well. So before that, you have to learn TypeScript. Okay, it's another programming language similar to Java, written over the top of JavaScript. Okay, so there you create, just like I'm creating classes here, there you create interfaces. Okay, JS means JavaScript. JSX means syntax extension of JavaScript. Like JSX is a mixture of JavaScript plus HTML. You can put it that way. And JS is pure JavaScript. Okay. All right. Yes, Kishan, that's fine. That's correct. You can send this data of state from this component to this component via props. Okay. So you can just include whatever data you want to send. You can just add it here. Let's say data equal to this dot state. You can send this complete state here, and this data will be received here as props. So you can just console props dot data. So whatever you send, it becomes here like object. Okay. So if you're sending this dot state, it will receive here as props dot data. Okay. Sachin, hooks is a topic introduced in 16.8. Okay. So just like I said, we can't create a state inside function-based component, but with hooks you can do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll just quickly explain this. In this hook, okay. In this props over here. So whenever you want to send this data from app to display, so you will import and add it here. So via HTML attribute, this is the custom attribute name I've given, data equal to this dot state. So I'm saying send this data to this display component. Okay. So it will be received here in this display component like a prop. Okay. All right. So this is the theoretical explanation, like collection of data. That state is a collection of data that resides inside your component. State is used so that a component can keep track of information in between any render it does. Basically, we have not updated the state. We'll see that after this. After this, we'll see this. States are objects which determine component rendering and behavior. They are mutable, unlike props. Props are immutable. You cannot update props. And we can create dynamic and interactive components using state, and they're accessed via this dot state. And you cannot create the state inside function-based components. Okay. If you want to create a state, you need the concept of hooks. Okay. Now, next we have updation of state. Okay. So whenever you guys update the state, this virtual DOM concept comes in picture. It's very important concept. Okay. So I will create a button. Let's say on click of a button, I will update it. I will write here on click equal to something. Now, team, you need to understand in JS, in HTML, this is how you write a button. On click is your event equal to string. Okay. Same thing. This is how we write in JavaScript, ReactJS. Okay. Same thing is written like this in ReactJS. Okay. On click equal to curly brace. Here you write string, we write round curly brace. Here you call the method. Now we are inside a class and we are inside of the JS file. So we don't have to go to any different file of JS to see that method. So you can simply create that method that we used to create, add in JS file in HTML in JS code. And here you can create handle click. Okay. This is the place you can create this method. And this is your fat arrow. This is again your ES6 syntax to create a function, arrow function. Okay, so whatever method you want to call when user click on a button, just on click equal to just create it above render inside this. Okay, inside the class. Don't create anything outside class. And just add here as this dot handle. Again, this handle click is a method belongs to app, so you have to write it like this. Okay, and I will say click. So when you click on this click button, okay, I want to update Elena to something else. I want to update Elena to Alex. Okay. So to update a state, there is only one way. Okay, to update the state. That is this dot set state. So if someone asks you how do you update a state in React, you can simply say this dot set state. There is no other method. Okay. And if you guys know the concept of inheritance, when you guys write import this class app extends component. So this render method, this set state method, these are coming from parent component, parent class, that is component. Okay. All right. So here just pass the value, whatever you want to update. pass in this method, it's a method, okay, pass curly brace and pass f name colon Alex. I want to change Elena to Alex on click of this button. Okay. Now you will see I will click on this, Elena is changed to Alex. Just look at it. I will click on it, Elena is changed to Alex. So when you click on this button, Elena value is changed to Alex. Okay. Till this line number 15, it is updated. Why you are able to see this updated change in the UI? Okay. Because render method is called every time state changes. Okay. Now there's a complete algorithm behind this state change. This algorithm will come in picture once your state is changing. Okay, this data. That is behind this algorithm is called reconciliation process. Okay. Process is called reconciliation. Okay. Algorithm is called diffing algorithm. And what you actually create is virtual DOM. Okay. I hope you guys know what is what's the question? Can we create? Yes, Vikram, you can create hand click on any component. Okay. Set state is asynchronous. All these methods are asynchronous. Page for refresh on changing the state. I'm changing the state data here. Okay, I'm changing the data here. Just like you guys change the name in your Facebook, this is equivalent to that. So the name that you see in Facebook name, it is actually present like this. Or let's say Fatima. Okay. So this data is displayed everywhere as a state like this in UI. Okay. Correct. So here to do all these steps, you have first step you need is reconciliation. Whenever you state updates, this process comes in picture. Reconciliation process is when you have any component which is having state, on click of a button when you're updating the state, that is this set state is coming. Okay. Create a copy of the virtual DOM, this copy of this DOM, okay, where data is being changed. Create a copy of this DOM. This is called DOM structure. I hope you guys know JavaScript DOM structure, browser DOM. This DOM structure is created and it is compared with the previous state data and the new state data. And to compare that data, we use diffing algorithm. Okay, I'm writing the terms here. We use diffing algorithms. So then both the DOM trees are compared, and whichever data is updated, that is rendered. That's why in a React application, complete application is never rendered. Only the page which is using this data will be rendered. Like in Facebook, if you try to change the name, okay, only the wherever you're using name, only those components will be re-rendered, not others. This complete process is called reconciliation process. Okay. And what is created here is virtual DOM copies. So whenever a component comes, okay, so whenever a component comes, the JSX is your DOM over here, right? Whatever you write in return is called JSX. So DOM copy of this JSX is created. One is called new, one is called current. They both are compared using diffing algorithm. Diffing means difference. So compare the difference of DOM trees. And whatever state is changed, it's updated and rendered in the browser DOM, in the real DOM. Okay. So if I show you guys through the code, when you click on this button, this method is called. In this set state, virtual DOM copies is created. They are compared. New data is being updated and re-rendering is happening. And you can see this process is so quick. I'll just click on it and you can see data is updated. So while I'm clicking on it, virtual DOM copies is also created. Okay, just look at it. Virtual DOM copies are also created. Okay, compared, and rendering also happened in that time phase. Okay, so this is called reconciliation process. Diffing algorithm is there to compare two DOM trees. Okay, and virtual DOM copies are created. The virtual DOM copies of this. Okay, you can consider it something like you have a paper in front of you and there is some text written over it, and there's just imagine a mapped paper over it, copy of that paper over it, and there is some data over it as well. So you're just comparing and mapping whichever is the common data, whichever is data has been updated, and finally you are merging it to a single paper. Okay, and that is getting rendered in the final browser. Okay, this is called virtual DOM. Okay. Shubham, Redux is basically for state management library. Okay, it's a common state management library. You can use it with Angular, React, and Vue.js, we use it with ReactJS. Okay, it's a state management library. Siraj, I hope VDOM virtual DOM is clear. Okay. Sunil, why ReactJS? There are 5 points why we call why ReactJS or ReactJS. Firstly, a virtual DOM, single page application, JSX, component based system, and unidirectional data flow. Okay, this is why ReactJS is. No, Ushagra, the Angular is totally different. Okay, your Angular doesn't have a concept called virtual DOM, this data updation, which you have in ReactJS. Okay. No, DOM will render every time when data will update. No, DOM will not render. Obviously, this part has to render. How will you see the updated data? Only that part is getting, that is what I'm saying. Complete is not rendered, only where your this P tag is updated. Only that part is getting rendered. Okay. In fact, earlier you had this issue, like if I showed you guys, even if I open it this Amazon, this is hybrid, this is half created with React, half without React. See, even if I need to see this data is not updated, it's still there in the UI. Still a page is refreshed, request is sent to the server, and it is bringing me that page. All that hassle is saved through React. Okay. Guys, React Native is a technology based on React only to create mobile applications. Okay. So before this React Native, we had different technology for creating iOS application and Android application. But with React Native, you can create both with React Native. Okay. Yes. ReactJS is a we don't say one page, but single page application. Okay, one page is different. It's single page. Okay, guys. Today's, if you see the topic, it was just an overview. To be honest, if you guys, okay, any questions before I go ahead? I hope I have answered all the questions. If anyone is left, please ping that in the chat box or drop it in the question. Guys, any questions before I go ahead? Yes. Function-based components before 16.8 version of React, it was just used to display the data in UI. I'll give you guys one example. I hope you guys have used Myntra application. Let's take an example of Myntra. Before I used to purchase anything on Myntra, when the order is placed, it used to show thank you for shopping with us. Okay. So just imagine for displaying that thank you for shopping with us, I will just create a function-based component. This was the use of function-based components back then. Okay. But let's say I have one thing over here. Let's say I want to change this data. This data is here, but with that, I want to give one option to the user. Please select the, like, for whom you are purchasing this. You're purchasing for yourself or for someone else. Okay. If you select for yourself, they will just say thank you. And they will store the size that you have purchased. And next time they will give you the notification of that size clothes. Okay. That is how they use it. So just imagine now there was P tag, but now I need a form here. Okay, I need to take input from the user. When you want to take input from the user, I told you, you have to store it in a state. Okay, but state is not there. So in 16.8, you guys have one topic called hooks that will allow you to create a state inside function-based component. Okay. What is React hook? React hook allows you, hook is a very vast topic. Okay. One of them we have set this use state hook, which allow you to create a lot of React features, add React features inside a function-based component, which we didn't had earlier. Okay. Okay. Guys, it depends upon the version you are using. Obviously, if you're going with 16th version, 16th I'm saying, you can't use function there for, you're going to use function just for the UI part, display part, which I've mentioned here. Okay. But this statement that I've written here, even that is changed after React 16.8. Okay. So when you start learning React JS, just remember, learn from scratch. learn from React 16, 16.8, 17, and 18. Learn all the versions. Find a person who can teach you all these versions. Okay, like I teach my candidates all the versions so that they know what we had, what we have new here. So then you will understand it better. And it's not that old, let's say, technology. It's very latest technology. Hardly 7-8 years back it was introduced. Okay. Guys, the set state is predefined. You have to use it the same way. Okay. Okay. Nitish, while routing is a very detailed topic, okay, but there's a topic of React routing you guys can study if you want to have multiple web pages. Yes, you can add regular expression to Redux. Guys, JSX. Okay, I have majorly like JSX is used a lot right now. Okay. All right. Guys, I hope this question answer is clear. Like, it depends upon the version of React you're working. Like, if I'm working with React 18, let's say, if I'm working on a project on React 18, I will go with function-based components purely. Because in function-based component, it's syntax-wise, once you create a state and all, syntax-wise, it's very easy to understand. Okay. So it depends upon the version you're working with. There is only once, there is not a state per page, state is per component. Okay. I'll quickly show you. Let's say this is one web page. In HTML, you guys have header, you have footer, you have different sections in your web page. So you used to create one HTML file for complete web page. This is not what we do in React. We divide our component into different parts. We'll create a different component for header, for footer, for each section. And then we will include and import all of them in app like this. Or in order. So they will automatically become a part of UI. So in React, we go with modular approach, like a plug-in and plug-out. Okay. Preferred component. That is what I mentioned, Sunil. It depends upon the React version you're working. If I'm working with React 18, I will go with function. If I'm working with React 17, I will go with function. If I'm going with React 18, 16.8, I will go with function. If I'm working with React 15 or 16, I will go with class-based. Okay. That doesn't mean class-based are dead. Class-based components are still created, but function-based is more syntax-wise easier. Okay, guys, if you want to send data from child to parent component, otherwise React is a unidirectional data flow. But still, if you have a case you want to send data from child to parent, then you have to create a method here in parent, pass this method like a HTML attribute, then call that method from this child component, and then pass the data, and then you will get this data inside this component. Okay, it's a very lengthy process. So what I picked today is just one small topic out of React. And before this as well, those who are new, I don't know if you guys really got the context or not, but if you guys really want to learn in detail React just from scratch, you can, I'm giving you guys this link and this is the mobile number. I will be your instructor there. Okay. So you can just contact SkillUpRight team. Okay. I'm dropping the link in the chat box. You can just contact us them. And this is the mobile number you can note down. Okay. So today what we have covered, it's very quickly overview, but once we go into course, it's very detailed. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please ask. You can contact the SkillUpRight team. I've dropped the link in the chat box. Okay. And this is the contact number. No, Angular is not dying because of React. Even one day React will also die, to be honest. Okay. Because nowadays we have Vue.js, which is more lighter weight as compared to React. Okay. Because after React was the major game changer in front end. Till the time something new is not coming, React will be there, but one day React will also die. Okay, but it is going to be there for at least next 10 years. Yes. Siraj, basically lifecycle methods, if I show you, even this render is a lifecycle method. Okay, lifecycle method means that defines the lifecycle of a component. Just like, you know, there's a lifecycle of a human being. A human is born, then work, then marry, and then die. Okay, there's a cycle. And for butterfly as well, there's a cycle. Similarly, for components, there's a cycle. Okay. Firstly, a component is created, then it is updated, and then it is deleted. Okay. Same process we have for the components. So to do that process of creation, mounting, updation, and unmounting, okay, we have a lot of methods inside this. Okay. So you have to go through those methods one by one. But this is the overview I can give right now. Yes, I can teach the complete React to you guys, but you have to contact the SkillUpRight team. Okay. Guys, React and Angular are front-end technologies. Node.js is your back-end technology. Okay. In fact, Node.js was introduced around 2010. Okay. And that actually allowed you to use JavaScript outside your browser. You can actually create backend with JavaScript. Okay. And React is going to be your, just like I mentioned, 5 pointers: JSX, component, unidirectional data flow. Then you have virtual DOM and single page application. This is the main concepts we have for React. We don't have virtual DOM in Angular. Angular and React both are single page applications. These are the major difference we have. React is lightweight as compared to Angular, and Angular is a framework. React is a library. Okay, and Node.js is a backend technology. No, not Vue. I teach HTML, CSS, JavaScript, ReactJS, and Redux. You have to contact Team Vikram for that. Okay, guys, you can contact SkillUpRight team. This is the contact number. Just note it down. Okay, I'll drop the contact number as well in the chat box, and I have dropped the contact us link as well. You can contact the team. They will update you about this. Okay. If you guys have any questions, please ask. Sarah's team will update you about everything. Okay. Again, Arun, team will update you about this. I'm not supposed to say all those things here, but your team will update you. It's not much days, to be honest. Yeah, I can assure you, you can learn React in like 20 days. You can master React in 20 days. Costing and all, SkillUpRight team will inform you. I've already pasted this link and the contact number in the chat box. Okay, I'll add it again. Okay. And not just that, I help candidates with the interview prep and all as well. So that will also be included in your course. Okay. Sheikh, context API is basically, it's the last topic that we have in React. It's more about sharing the same data among multiple components. Okay. That is exactly what we resolve with Redux, the state management. Okay. And before this React or Redux, we have this context API. When you have one common data to be shared among multiple components, a lot of time you have to make a component a child of another component just for the sake of data. So that is what we handle using context API. So we have consumer, producer, and provider there. All right. In detail, we'll see in ReactJS course. Okay, if you guys join. Magento is a platform for, e-commerce stuff. Like, just like you have Shopify. So you can't really integrate it. All right. Any questions before we wrap, team? All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being a lovely audience. So hope I'll see you guys soon. All right. I'm just last time dropping it.